Right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another session of marketing processes and planning. And this is for BTEC level 4 and 5 higher national diploma in business studies and higher national certificate in business Pearson level 4. Thank you for joining. Today is Saturday, and my name is Zafar Iqbal. And today is the Saturday, 24th of June 2023. We're going to be looking at LO3, which is the LO3, which means learning outcome number 3 is we're going to be talking about developing and evaluating a basic marketing plan. I'm sure you know something about marketing, and I'm sure you know something about marketing planning. But so let's go through what marketing planning. So what I'm planning to do this afternoon is we'll be talking about the marketing planning. We'll be looking at the links between marketing planning objectives and marketing strategies. We'll be looking at how to evaluate and monitor marketing plans using appropriate control and evaluation techniques. Okay, and we also be looking at some setting goals and objectives, situation analysis tools and techniques, creating a marketing strategy and allocation of resources. And so therefore marketing is very important, and how to measure the control and how to look at the control measures and so on. Okay, so today's session is basically preparing a monitoring and looking at the developing and monitoring, evaluating a marketing plan. Okay, so let's start with what is marketing plan. A marketing plan, as you may have read in elsewhere in your studies, it's a detailed description of the activities that are required to achieve the marketing objectives. Now, marketing objectives are specific and they also feed in the overall strategy of the business organization. So it's very important that you understand how the marketing objectives and the marketing strategy feeds into the overall mission and objectives of the overall strategy of an organization. So first of all, when we are preparing a marketing strategy, we have to start with a marketing plan. Now, there are different stages of preparing a marketing plan. Now, first of all, we need to look at our mission and corporate objectives, i.e. what are our goals and objectives of the organization, as well as the marketing goals and objectives. Then we need to analyze the current situation, i.e. according to SWOT analysis, and we look at a marketing audit, and we look at the assumptions and break down into SWOT analysis. Then we need to develop a marketing strategy, which means we look at the smaller parts of the marketing plan, which is to divide the marketing strategy into marketing objectives, into a smaller, making sure that these are achievable, these are broken into smart objectives. We need to look at the alternative plans, forecasting expected results. We look at the strategies, objectives, forecasting, and making sure that these alternative plans are feasible. And then lastly, we need to allocate resources, marketing resources, and we need to put systems in place before implementation and taking action, making sure that these implementation and resources are allocated, and we evaluate those and to what extent are they working or not. So these are the stages that we need to go through a marketing planning process. So let's go through in details. Okay, so the main planning stages as we described. So what is a mission statement? I'm sure you will know a mission statement is a meaningful statement of the purpose and direction of the business, and we look at the overall mission and mission of the organization. So our marketing mission should feed into the mission of the whole organization in sense. Then we need to look at the corporate objectives, i.e. what are the objectives and how can they be shaped into the marketing objectives. And so we need to look at the overall objectives of the organization, and we need to look at the marketing objectives. Before we look at the marketing objectives, we need to do a marketing analysis or marketing audit. Now, these are to look at the resources, these are to look at the availability of products, these are to look at what our channels of distributions are, where's our market, how many competitives do we have? What is our strengths? What's our weakness? In other words, what is the firm's current position? What is the the problems that we can come across, i.e. SWOT analysis, and we can do that in terms of target planning, and we can do that in terms of size and structure and growth and the markets of the business. Okay, so we've got to do the next stage of the market analysis in terms of the SWOT analysis. Then we look at the marketing objectives, because the marketing objectives will feed into the overall objective of the organization, and we need to look at the type of strategies we're going to adopt. What type of strategies are we following? For example, ANSAF or matrix or BCG matrix or whatever. After that, when we preparing a market planning, we go to look at the marketing budget, and how many what are the resources available, and how do they fall in line with the overall strategy budget, and what time period are we going to prepare this marketing budget, what we're going to do, what type of action we're going to take, and what type of implementation plan. How can we review these stages and over the next few years? Okay, so therefore it's very important that you go through these planning stages before preparing a marketing plan. Okay, so this is very important. What are the next stages? We need to know, we need to find out what are the factors that are influencing the size of our marketing budget. Okay, and the marketing budget depends on how much money do we have in the organization, and how are we spending it? Are we spending it wisely, and do we have we got the resources? Have we got the profitability ratio sorted out? Have we got the resources that we are spending wisely, and so forth? So the business suffering from, are we suffering from any cash flow issues, or low profitability, or any liquidity issues, or any other issues that we need? If we are, then we need to solve that first before we prepare our marketing plan. Okay, so this is quite important. So we start with our marketing plan by looking at the resources that are available. Otherwise, if there is no budget, if there's no money, no point doing the whole thing. So we need to look at the overall functional areas, and we need to make sure that they are supportive of us, and we will support them as well, because they both interlink, or all the departments are interlinking. Another factor that is very important in influencing the size of marketing budget is to look at the competitors' position. What type of people are in the market, and who are they competing? What type of products? What type of market share? What's the segmentation? What type of response do they have against us, and what can we do in order to compete with our competitors? What's the demand for our products? What sort of the cost of a marketing budget? What are the economic turmoil? What type of economic viability of our product? What kind of marketing services can we provide, and how we're going to advertise, and how which channels are we going to use, which distribution channels, or which media channels are we going to use, all this thing. And the last one is when we are looking at the factors in planning marketing and planning marketing budget, is to look at what extent are these monies returnable, what type of return are we going to get, and how are we going to go measure them, and is there a good return on it, or is there going to be a bad return on it? How can we measure the returns that we are spending on the advertising, or on the marketing budgets? Okay, so these are some of the factors that are very important when you want to plan marketing and marketing budget. Okay, the next thing is we need to look at the strategic planning. So the strategic planning is very important factor as well, and this is strategic planning is to what extent do the organization adapt to take advantages of opportunities in constantly changing environment? To what extent is the strategic planning helping an organization to maintain a strategic fit between its goals and capabilities and changing marketing opportunities. So we need to look at that. Strategic planning is very important because it helps a firm to maintain a strategic fit between the goals and capabilities and the changing environment and the changing marketing opportunities. Okay, how can we do that? Is we need to look at the strategic planning. We need to look at the steps in strategic planning. Now, the steps in strategic planning is, first of all, we need to look at the, we need to look at the defining, we need to look at the mission of the organization at a corporate level, overall level, in other words, and then we need to set the company objectives and goals. And then we need to design the business portfolio. And once we've done that, then you can work out your planning, marketing, and other functional strategies at a market level, at a level, business units level, product and market level. So we can, do at that stage. It's very important that we follow this kind of step into market planning. Okay, make sure that you know what you are doing with your planning. You have to stick to your mission statement. You have to make sure that you are following the mission statement of the organization, and this emphasizes the company's strengths. Okay, mission, because if you don't work according to your mission statements, then you are diverting your resources, diverting your attention to somewhere else, to another direction, which may not meet the objectives. Okay, so the mission objectives or the mission statement clearly tells you what you should focus on and what your expectations are, and what your customer experience is, what your organization purpose is, what type of terms of business, doing the business, what is there you want to do in the longer term. So you must emphasize your company's strengths. Okay, so it's very important that you set these goals according to the mission statement, and these should be converted, these objectives, these goals, these aims, whatever you want to call it, they should be converted into such that they are working in tandem with supporting the organization at every level of the management and every level of the mission. Okay, and these should be the objectives should lead to a hierarchy of objectives, i.e. you achieve the objectives that are important first, and then you follow the sub-objectives and so on. Okay, so first of all, you need to look at the objectives, overall objectives of the organization, which is known as the business objectives or business strategy, and then you follow the marketing objectives or the marketing strategy and marketing planning. Okay, because these marketing objectives will feed into the overall business objectives. Okay, how we can do that is we look at the business portfolio, i.e. the type of products that we have, what type of business products do we have, how many products do we have, what type of customers do we have, what type of portfolio of our organization, the business units and the business strategies, and how are we going to develop these strategies in order to meet our business objective and business portfolio planning. Okay, so let's look at these steps in business portfolio planning, and this we can do that by, number one, we can build portfolio analysis by evaluating all the products of the business that we currently have, and we need to make sure that we look at the strategic business units, i.e. SBUs first, because these will be the units that are going to help us to carry out these objectives, and we must make sure that these business units they support our business objectives, because if they are not there supporting business units, i.e. SBUs, they are the core of the business, they are the core of the marketing business, the products and some units will be there, which will carry on supporting us, bringing us cash, bringing us resources, bringing us some money into the organization, and we must carry on working on them, and then replacing some of those units stage by stage, and the weaker units we can replace them by stronger units, and doing by marketing research and physically phasing out slowly by slowly. Okay, so this is very important. So we work on the SBUs first, making sure that they they are supporting our business, and we replace those by products slowly by introducing new products. Okay, we can use a BCG matrix in order to see this type of phasing out, for example, or the SBUs, how we can look at the BCG matrix, which tells us which units are growing and which are shrinking, and which are dangerous, and which are going to go to our opportunity, and so on. So this is called a growth share matrix. So if you look at this growth share matrix, the vertical side is says market growth rate, and the horizontal, which is this one, is relative market share. Okay, and there are four quadrants. In other words, one's a star quadrant, the other one's a question mark, one's a dollar sign, and one is dogs. Now, if you look at them and if you analyze these units, first of all, let's look at the star. Now, these are the products that a company or an organization has, which is giving a high market growth, and they are also giving you a high cash return. Okay, so these are the products that are going to be shining, and you need to work on them, you need to build upon them, you need to make sure that these are developed into products that are going to last for a longer term, to bring you cash in the future. Okay, so because they have a higher market share and they have a higher return. Okay, so therefore and they are growing, so they'll bring you cash, and these are rising star. Okay, the cash cow is the products, these are SBUs that are bringing you cash all the time, but they have a low market growth rate, but a high return, but a high market share. They're bringing you a lot of money into the units to carry your research and to carry on supporting other units, to carry on meeting your expenses. So you need to retain these products and make sure that you look at, you refer to them, you take care of these cash cows, because they'll be giving you cash all the time, and they support your SBUs. The question mark people, or the question mark products, are the products that are showing a high market growth rate, but low return, but low market share, right? And these can be developed into a future products when you replace SBUs here. Okay, or you can replace these. These are the ones that may replace certain units, and they can bring you certain cash over. Okay, so the question mark, they are developable products. They can bring you some cash in the future, but you have to work on them. Okay, and the last one is the dogs here. Now these products are costing you a lot of money, and they are expensive to maintain, and they are not bringing you anything. So they are eating up your resources. Their market share is very low, and they are bringing you very low return. So therefore, you need to replace them totally. You need to modify them. You need to make sure that these are replaced totally, and they probably go into here, from the dogs to the question mark. All right, and the question mark to the stars, and stars to the cash. So it's a continuous revolvement. It's a continuous changing over. Okay, so make sure that these dogs can turn into question marks, and the question marks turn into stars, and the stars into cash cows, and so on. So it's a very important a matrix that you can use when you want to see what products are giving you what revenue. Okay. Then we can evaluate our SBUs in terms of the market growth rate and relative market share. But the problems are that you need to make sure that you look at them, but you have to define what are your SBUs, what are the products which are your SBUs, and how you measure the market share and how you measure the growth. But it's difficult to define certain products that are your SBUs, so you need to work on it. Okay, the problems are that you need to focus on these products. And they are time-consuming products, and they're costly to implement. SBUs are costly to implement, costly to define, and costly to maintain. And making sure that your current business, you get the right advice from experts for future planning, which are your units and which are going to be supportive of your market and market share. Okay, so you need to get rid of these problems and issues before you can work. Another matrix that you can use is to look at the product market expansion matrix, okay, which is to look at the existing markets and new markets. And so, for example, you can look at your existing, in terms of the SBUs, in existing products into existing markets. Okay, so this, you can use the marketing strategy, you can use the pricing in order to expand the products and market share. Or how you do that is you look at your existing products and whether they are good, and what pricing strategy you're going to follow into the existing market. So you look at your products and develop a pricing strategy based on market penetration. This is a strategy that you can follow when your product has a good base into the existing markets and existing product, and you can make sure that you pierce the hole into the market and get into the market without fear, because you have the product's ability and your market is there. Okay, so you can use this marketing strategy or marketing pricing strategy to get into the get into the existing market and existing products. You can use that, or you can go into again new markets, but using the existing product, and that's known as the market development, i.e. you develop the market, you look at the market, you look at the new ways of marketing your product, and that might be a little bit risky. Okay, or you can find complete new products into existing markets, which is known as the product development, i.e. by differentiation, or by design, or by taste, or looking at your products and design them differently, or target the market by different segments, and you develop for different people, different income groups, and so on. So you can develop that product for different people, all right? Designing and income and lifestyle and so on. Or you can go into complete new market and new product. You diversify into related products or unrelated products. Your market is open and you just go into any of the market. For example, you can go in, if a Coca-Cola company wants to go into, design or designer clothes, they can do that, developing new products into new markets. But this is also risky, but they can go into related products like soft drinks, for example, or, related markets, for example, which are crisps, for example, or anything to do with food, because they have some experience of that particular market, or toffees or sweets, or, soft drinks, or, but going into completely new market and new products is risky. However, you can go and there's nobody to stop you, but you have to have some resources, and over the longer term, it can be very beneficial, provided you do a lot of market research and product development and product research and so on. Okay, so you can use this marketing strategy for market expansion or for product expansion. Okay, you can also downsize. Now, downsize means reducing the business portfolio, i.e. to retain your SBUs. You can reduce the number of products that you have, and so you can concentrate on a few that are profitable and get rid of the other ones that are not profitable. And they don't fall into your business strategy. You have them because you wanted to get some revenue, but they don't work for you. So just get rid of them. Just throw them out of your business window, and you just concentrate and put your resources into the products that are working for you, SBUs. Okay, so this is downsizing. Another downsizing is laying off people. No, we're not talking about the laying off or reducing the number of workforce. The downsizing, we are talking about the business portfolio by eliminating products, business, or reducing the business units that are not profitable. Okay, so when we're talking about the downsizing here in marketing, we mean specifically that the products, reducing the products, okay, reducing the SBUs that are no longer profitable and don't fit into your company's overall strategy. Why do we do this? Is we can put our resources into particular goods. We can put our resources into areas that we can get a lot of growth. We can put our resources into areas where we are experts, and we are going to increase the market. So therefore, we need to work on those rather than keeping them and leaving those for future. They become dogs for us, and they're going to eat our resources, which we cannot afford to do. Okay, so we can downsize. Okay, what's the role of the marketing in strategic planning? Now let's get looking at the role of marketing in strategic planning. Now specifically, the marketing is a very important role that marketing has to play in the overall strategy of the organization, because it provides an organization, it provides an input to strategic planning. It provides market opportunities. It provides it provides the firm what are the good products and what are the bad products. In other words, it assesses strengths and weaknesses. It looks at opportunities, and it looks at threats, and designs some kind of new way of feeding into your marketing, feeding into your strategic overall planning. So this is why we need to do that, and it's a contributing area, right? There can be areas of other planning, like financial planning, for example. Marketing planning is very important because it depends on the products and how we can reach these units to for our future survival of the firm. And we can make sure that we partner with other company departments. We work with them, we look at them, we work together with the internal departments. We want to make sure that we are we make sure that we are working in different departments, coordinating activities. We make sure that these customers are fed into, customers' feedback is fed into our value chain, and we want to make sure that the value chain is working. We are creating some kind of a value chain for our organization, so that our organization is working with other departments. We want to make sure that we are delivering goods and services which make up the company's good services, including the suppliers and including the distributors and customers. And we're working with partners of each other to improve the performance of the entire organization. So that will feed into the overall objectives of the organization. And this is what we can work through that marketing system. We want to make sure that we are adding value to the products and delivery. And marketing strategy is one where we can do that. It creates customer value. It creates a portfolio of products that are profitable, and it builds up the customer relationship management. It produces an integration. It produces an integrated number of products, and we look at these, and we market analyze, we marketing analysis. We do that so that our strategy, so that our marketing strategy works in with the overall objectives of the organization. And we can do that also with the 4 Ps. In other words, marketing mix. We can plan according to our 4 Ps strategy and integrate that into our promotional mix, into our promotional policy to the best of the ability, and involve into planning, into implementing, and into controlling. And the 4 Ps is quite another useful tool to prepare your marketing strategy. We can do that also by dividing our market into segments. We can do that by dividing products into different types of products, and whereby we look at the market and divide that share into different segments, look at the different needs of people, look at different customers, look at their characteristics, look at their behaviors through different income groups, style and needs and requirements, and we look at their psychology and the location where so we can divide the market segmentation into different types of distinct group of buyers, and so according to their needs and of the organization and of course the customers, we can do that also by by targeting specific segments of the market so that we are making sure that each market segment has some kind of a value to us, and they bring us revenue, and making sure that our survival and the products are getting us some revenue. Okay, we can also position, we can set our products according to positioning. Okay, we can make sure that our product has a distinct and unique position in the market by looking at clear and distinct products, so that we are targeting our consumers. We look at the products in terms of their differentiation. We look at the products in terms of their value. We look at the positioning of the organization or products in where our products stand compared to our products. So you can do differentiation, and that will be valuable for your marketing positioning. Okay, and this is very important. Okay, in other words, you need to look at the position of the market. You look at the products, how are they function, and how are they positioned into the market. Okay, we can use the 4 Ps in order to look at that. We can use the 4 Ps to look at the the marketing mix. Now, the marketing mix, as you know, stands for 4 Ps, which is 4 Ps, in other words, product, price, promotion, and place. Now, what do we mean by product? Product means the quality, the type, the variety, the branding, the packaging, the services, what is the design, what does it look like, what is it, what's its name, brand image, in other words, what does it, what's the function, the physical attributes of the product, in other words, and then if the physical product is good, we can target our customers, we can target our position, we can target our product into the positioning, into the intended positioning. We can look at the product positioning in terms of price. Price means how far we can look at in terms of what prices are we going to charge, what price is this available at, what type of discounts do we allow our customers, what are the payment terms, for example, credit terms and allowances, and the discount and the price, or the price package. So this is concerned with all the terms and conditions of the pricing. You can look at the place, and that will place means which channels are we going to use in order to distribute our goods. What are the logistics, in other words, what type of channels of distribution you're going to use to sell the products, right? What type of inventory are you going to hold, how much inventory, where you're going to locate it, what type of location, or geographical location you're going to cover. Is it local or national or international or what? And this will feed into your positioning. Okay, and the last one is the 4 P of 4P is the advertisement or personal selling or promotion and publicity and public relation and CRM, all that type of thing, and that will work, and that is to intend your positioning of the product. Okay, all these 4 Ps. The first, price and product, is going to target the customers. The last 2, promotion and the pricing, pricing and promotion and place, will target the intended position of the market of the product. And this you can do that in terms of 4 Ps. But the problems with the 4 Ps is sometimes they undermine some products, or they omit some service products. In other words, they need, they're only talking about, say, some physical products rather than a service product. Service products is like, for example, you can't physically see the product service, like the hospital service, or you can not see a banking service, or you cannot see insurance service, or legal services, or education. But when we're talking about the service products, these are intangible service, or this intangible products. So you can't see some, but most of these 4 Ps talk about, they omit they omit or underemphasize service products. Mostly they are talking about the physical aspects of the products. Okay, so you need to be make sure that these are some of the disadvantages of 4 Ps. Another disadvantage or another criticism of the 4 Ps packaging or 4 Ps mix is that it doesn't cover the buyer's perspective of the 4 Cs. It doesn't cover the customer solution, customer cost, convenience, and communication. It only need to include the 4 Ps. It needs to include the packaging as a product decision. These are some of the criticism, and it looks at the product price, promotion, place, and convenience. Okay, so it doesn't cater for the the 4 Cs, but it looks at the Ps, and in terms of Ps only. So this is very important, that you need to make sure that you understand, and you need to look at them when we're talking about the 4 Ps. Okay, the next thing we need to look at when we are doing the marketing planning is we need to see to what extent are we analyzing and implementing our control into the marketing strategy, into the marketing management. Okay, so once having done the analysis, once you looked at the overall analysis, then we need to plan the type of strategies that we're going to follow. We need to look at the the types of policies and types of avenues that you're going to develop to market your plans. You need to look at them. You need to look at developing strategies, and then that strategy will feed into the implementation, i.e. how do we carry that plan? How do we carry that instrument? How do we carry out that plan, strategic plan? Once you see, you can test it. You can test the market before you fully implement it, and you can look at them and make some changes. Do not strive to go into implementation first. You have to test and then implement fully, slowly. And once you've done, there is a mechanism, control mechanism. And if the implementation doesn't work, implementation doesn't go according to change according to your plan, you can have some control mechanism and change and evaluate those itself, and then take corrective action. Okay, and it can be taken at the implementation stage, or it can be taken to the planning stage. Then it will feed back into analysis stage, and then you go back into the control stage again. So it's a full circle. Okay, the control mechanism will go through all these elements and feed into the correction mode once they've been implemented fully. So you need to look at that kind of cycle, make sure that this marketing is fully implementable and controllable. Okay, so this is very important. Another thing you can do is you look at your marketing planning in terms of your SWOT analysis, okay, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now the strengths are internal strengths. Okay, these are the capabilities. These are the strengths that you have, financial strengths, maybe marketing, IT, or product, or to what extent are you good in, what are your strengths in other words, your internal capabilities that will help an organization to reach its objectives. So you need to look at the audit, your audit, and it will give you some it'll bring out your strengths, so it can be a good product design, or good management, or good IT, or good marketing ability, and so on. Okay, so strengths. The weaknesses are your limitations, that your issues, that your problem that you are finding, that are obstacles. In other words, that are your problems that are interfering with the company's ability to achieve its objectives. So you need to look at the weaknesses. In other words, how can you make these weaknesses into strengths, and how you can turn these bad habits into the good habits. In other words, your weaknesses. And the other one, see, the external opportunities, i.e. your competitors. You look at the competitors. What are they doing to, who are your competitors? What type of products do they do? What type of opportunities do you have? New ways of developing, market share, or developing new products, or capturing new business. These are the opportunities, or other external factors that our company may be able to exploit to its advantage, and then you can turn these into new business ventures, new opportunities, new market shares, and new products, and so on, and bringing developments and so on. Okay, and threats are the things that are external to the organization in terms of company's performance. Current and emerging external factors could be local threats, could be national threats, could be international threats, could be pressures, what you call the pastel factors, and so on. So you can look at those threats. It could be a political threat, or economic threat, or international, or whatever, like wars, for example, or global warming, or in advent of technology, or okay. So you need to develop these SWOT analysis, so you can turn that into a practice. You can make sure that you follow these SWOT analysis to look at the new audit, and make sure that you turn that into a good marketing plan later. Okay, what does a marketing plan look like? For example, what are the contents of a marketing plan? There is no one particular setup. There is no one particular model that looks at the content of a marketing plan. It has different types of depending on different needs of organization. You can start with an executive, for example, with an executive summary. Then you can have a section on a marketing situation. Then maybe a threats and opportunity analysis, objectives and issues, marketing strategy, for example, action program, budgets, control. Okay, and then you can explain them. What do you mean by the executive summary? What is executive summary? Is you explain, you write, you you tell us what the purpose of the executive summary in a gist. What are the main goals? What are you going to do? What are recommendations? How are you going to do it? What's the purpose of the marketing plan? Look at the current, when looking at the current marketing situation, the purpose of that particular section is to look at where the market is, where your market is going, what type of competition you are following or you are having, what type of distribution review, what are the products, what are your market description. It tells you the current whole market situation, and that's the purpose of the section. The threats and opportunities analysis, which is the third section you can have. It explains the management, how important some positive or negative developments can be, which are going to be helpful for management, and which they can anticipate their advantages and disadvantages, and how they can develop them into future opportunities and into future strengths. The section on objectives and issues states and discusses marketing objectives, the key issues of the objectives, and key of the strategy, and key of the plan. Okay, when you are looking at the marketing strategy, the purpose of that marketing strategy is in terms of broad marketing logic and the specifics of the target market positioning, its the strategies you're going to follow, the expenditure, the budgets, and the overall positioning, and what are you expecting into the overall market expenditure, and so on. Okay, action program, the section on action program, it tells you which marketing strategy are, for what particular purpose, what are, what are you going to do with these marketing, what type strategy, what are they going to do, what's the specific action they're going to fulfill, what are they going to, give it, what type of action they're going to give you, what are the benefits they're going to give you against the strategy that you're going to adopt. Okay, this is very important. And the budgets section, budgets, i.e. what money do you have, what are the budget, marketing budget do you have from the past and from the projected or for the future, how are you going to use that particular budget to forecast, project profit and loss statement. In other words, where are you going to, how are you going to utilize this marketing budget? Do you have enough money to advertise, and do you have enough money to produce new goods and services and advertise and create a marketing image, and what are the control mechanisms you're going to check, you're going to use when you implement, and you're going to, if they don't work, if your plans do not work, what strategy, what mechanism do you have? What are the products that are going to, what you're going to do with the products that are not meeting your objectives, not meeting your control. So this is marketing controls. How you're going to implement your strategy, how you're going to implement those plans, how you're going to turn them into actions. And if they don't turn into actions, who going to address, where are you going to address, when are you going to implement, and how are you going to do that? So it's very important that you decide that you talk about these types of things, okay, when we marketing planning, when we marketing, when we're preparing a market plan, okay? So because marketing department is very functional, because it looks at the products, it looks at the marketing as a service organization, it looks at the other department, and it works with the other departments. To what extent are you working with other departments as a whole? Marketing department working with other marketing departments, so with other functions, with other functional areas. So you need to make sure that you are defining your functional areas and your geographical areas and your market, and so you're working in tandem with the other departments, okay? This is very important. The last thing when you are preparing to your marketing planning or marketing strategy is you need to know the marketing return. What are you getting in return, i.e. if you are investing in products, and if you are investing in new markets, if you are developing new products, are you getting your return from from your investment? And this we can do that by looking at the marketing return on investment, okay, ROI, return on investment. Now this you can do that, you can, although it's difficult measurement, but I mean, you can still get something out of it. For example, looking at marketing return in terms of the net revenue, net return from a marketing investment, and it divides by the cost of the marketing investment, i.e. how much you're spending and how much you are generating from this particular investment. And you can look at you can look at these performance criteria or ratios or performance measures, or look at the standard marketing performance measures, and look at the customer service, customer centered measures. These are the measures that we can look at when we are looking at the return on investment. Okay, now in return on investment is very important, because this will give you an idea whether it's worth your while to invest into this particular product or not. Okay, so the market investment is a kind of you can look at through market investment by looking at market in return on investment in terms of the increased customer attraction, in terms of the increased customer retention. You can look at that in terms of the customer value, increased or improved customer value and engagement, and you can look at that in terms of the customer lifetime value and the customer loyalty and the customer equity by feedbacks, by, you know, they are buying your product. You can look at that. You can, you can look at your the customer base when you are measuring marketing investment. Though it's difficult, though it's time consuming, though it's problematic, how do you measure this? But it provides you a clear sense of direction for marketing management. It gives the management an idea what are the direction that they're going to set for some products, and you can divert your resources to the products that are going to be give you good return, and rather than bad return. And so you can target that particular market. It gives you the return backs of will give you an option, marketing option that going to be evaluated and prioritized in terms of priority and in terms of your evaluation. But the problem with that is you need to constantly look at the market changes in the market, because the market is changing all the time, and therefore you need to make some assumptions, and assumptions are always difficult to make. When you are looking at the benefits and drawbacks of marketing planning, you also need to look at the scarce resources, and to what extent are we allocating our resources, and are there resources, as they're limited, they are always scarce, and we want to make sure that the best resources are allocated to get the best returns, and minimum resources for the maximum benefit. But there are dangers because either they are too complicated or they're too systematic or simplistic, and there are dangers of that particular measure. Okay, you can look at the another benefit of this marketing planning is we need to look at, or we can look at the marketing department, and to what extent is this responsible, and to what extent it's not responsible. And the plan, however, the plan can be ignored as circumstances take over, or maybe it's too complicated, or maybe it's not worthwhile looking at, or maybe it's wasting time. So when you are planning marketing planning, you must make sure that the benefits outweigh your disadvantages, but benefits outweigh your investment, in other words. So therefore it's and this we can do that by doing a market analysis, by marketing returns or investment return on investment. And so because this will give us a good idea, although it's difficult to look at the returns and look at the return on investment. However, feedbacks and communication with the customers, and how we look at their retention rates, and we look at the customers' attraction rates to a particular product, we can measure out. We can measure a certain kind of percentages, and it will give us a good idea how much returning we are getting, how much return on particular product. Okay, so all in all, today we talked about the marketing planning, okay, and the stages of marketing planning. We looked at different types of tools that can help in marketing planning, and the purposes of marketing planning, and how to measure marketing planning, and the contribution that marketing can play in terms of feeding its objectives into the overall strategic objectives of the organization. And I hope, I hope that I have tried to make my point across. If you go back to your learning outcome, where we started from, and this is where we started from, which is to look at the marketing planning and the purpose of marketing planning here. Okay, the stages of marketing planning and what is a marketing plan. We said a marketing plan is a detailed description of the activities that are required to achieve the marketing objectives. So we talked about the marketing planning objectives and strategy, and all these marketing objectives are feeding into the overall strategic objectives of the organization. Okay, so thank you very much for joining, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, please drop me a line. If you are okay, then we'll meet for another lesson, which is tomorrow, which is to look at the L04, okay, L04, learning outcome 4, and we're talking about the next episode. Thank you very much indeed for joining. Have a good day. Bye-bye.